To submit a new request for testing accommodations, go to the Disability Support Resources webpage, www.gvsu.edu/DSR, and click on the Test Accommodations button. The Test Accommodation system can also be found in the left side navigation links by hovering over Forms and Procedures and then clicking on Test Accommodation Form. Log in to the Disability Support Resources Accommodation system using your GVSU user ID and password. Locate the section of the page labeled Test Requests and click on Add New. Fill in the form with the requested information. Fill in the professor's name. Fill in the professor's email address. It's very important that the email address be spelled correctly, so you are asked to retype the professor's email address in the next box. Please retype the email. Don't simply copy and paste from the first box to the second. Fill in the course number and section number. For example, Anthropology 220 Section 1 is abbreviated ANT 220-01. DSR needs to know the section number. If you need to look this information up, you can find this on your class schedule in the Banner Student Information System. Please indicate the days and time the class meets. For example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 to 8 p.m., or Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 10 a.m. Please use the combo boxes to indicate the date and the time of day you will take the test. This is information you should discuss with your instructor prior to filling out this form. Discussing this with your instructor is especially important if you plan to take the test at a different time than the rest of the class. DSR policy is that all tests must be scheduled a minimum of 7 days in advance. The system requires that you give DSR at least 7 days advance notice when submitting requests for test accommodation. If you try to schedule your test for a date fewer than 7 days in advance, the system will reject your request. If this occurs, please contact the testing coordinator at 616-331-2152 to discuss your request. Please check the appropriate boxes to indicate the accommodations you are requesting for this particular test. Please check only accommodations that you have discussed with your DSR advisor and have been approved to use. This list contains the most commonly used accommodations. If you need to request an accommodation not listed, such as assistive technology or specialized equipment, check the box next to Other. A text box in which to enter your request will then appear. Screen reader users will need to press Shift and Tab to locate this text box. Note that Pew Campus appears in this list of accommodations. This has been added new this year to make it easier to indicate Pew Campus as the test location. Please check the box next to Pew Campus if you are requesting to take your test at the downtown Pew campus. You will need to read and agree to the testing policy. To schedule a test, submit test accommodation forms to testing services online a minimum of 7 days prior to the test date. A hard copy alternative form is required if the 7-day deadline for the online testing form has been missed. The alternative form can only be obtained from the testing coordinator and is good only for the date and time agreed upon. If 2 alternative forms are used during one semester, testing privileges may be suspended until you meet with your DSR advisor. Please arrive on time for all exams. Testing appointments begin and end at the scheduled time. Arrive at least 5 minutes prior to the test time. If an individual arrives late, then the testing time will be reduced and the instructor will be contacted. When the scheduled test time ends, all testing materials, including the completed test and Scantron if applicable, will be collected promptly. For example, if you are scheduled to test from 9 to 11 and arrive at 10, you will have only 1 hour to test, and all testing materials must be turned in at that time. If 2 late arrivals occur in one semester, testing privileges may be suspended until you meet with your DSR advisor. Requests for final exam accommodations must be submitted online a minimum of 14 days prior to the test date. Arrive no less than 10 minutes prior to the scheduled test time. Alternative forms will not be accepted for final exams. Final exams will be scheduled in one of the following time slots based on the time the class is scheduled to take the final exam: 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. DSR will not reschedule you for a missed test without notification and approval from the instructor. The professor is not required to allow you to make up or reschedule a missed test. If 2 missed tests occur in one semester, testing privileges may be suspended until you meet with your DSR advisor. Please plan to use the restroom prior to beginning your exam. Bathroom breaks are not allowed during exams except for documented accommodations or emergencies. Do not leave the testing area without permission. The following items are prohibited in the testing room: cell phones, purses, book bags, coats, hats, and/or scarves. Exceptions will be made for religious attire if requested. Food is not allowed in the testing area. If a documented medical condition exists which requires food, then it may be consumed outside of the testing area. Please notify the testing staff if accommodations are required. Beverages are allowed. Staff cannot clarify questions on tests. Any form of academic dishonesty will forfeit testing accommodations with DSR for the remainder of the semester. Click the checkbox to indicate that you agree with the terms and conditions, and then click Save. The system then takes you back to the main screen. You may view any existing requests, cancel any existing requests, or add a new request. Be sure to log out of the system when you are finished submitting requests.